What up? What up? What up? Welcome back to another edition of the Bad Podcast. And we are live again inside of the Eager to Run page, as well as we're coming through your favorite Instagram or YouTube or podcast catcher, wherever you listen, wherever you're watching. We are back again. So, Brad, my brother, what are we talking about today, my friend?
We're going to talk about Mamba mentality and how curiosity actually saved the cat. It didn't kill the cat, but it actually saved the cat. I want to read a quote from Kobe Bryant, and few people know what Mamba mentality is. So what is Mamba mentality? That infinite curiosity to want to be better, to figure things out. Mamba mentality is you're competing, you're not worried about the end result. You're not worried about what people may say. You're not worried about disappointing others. You're not worried about any of that. You're just focused on being in the moment. That's what my Mamba mentality is. Let's talk about it.
All right, man. RIP to the GOAT. Let's get it.
Hey, good job, guys. Good job. Mental battles. Mental battles.
Hey, man. E2 for life, baby. What it look like, what it be like, what it do. Back in here, man, another edition of Bad Podcast, man. Super excited. And we also have a guest this time, man. And we are ready to get into it. Talk about all the cool things he has done and still do. One of those things is downloading Chrome in less than 54 seconds and uploading and getting in here, man. I mean, it's probably another record. You can add that to your resume. But I'm gonna let Brad introduce him, man, and we're just super excited to have this brother.
Yeah. So, Mike, I'm gonna hand the keys over to you and let you introduce yourself and talk a little bit about yourself, and then I'll take the reins from there. Go ahead, Mike.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much, guys, for having me. I'm hype after that intro. That's pretty cool. So, my name's Mike Aidala. I work as a performance coach and an athlete. I've had a few strength world records. I just ran a 100-mile race. Always like to push myself and the people that are around me to be the best versions of themselves as possible. And so I live in Boulder, Colorado. That's a little bit about me.
That's amazing. And a lot of the things that you just said there are things that we're going to talk about today. And I want to talk about a conversation that I was just having with a friend of mine the other day. And we're just talking about life in general. He's always like, you're just always chasing something. You're always in pursuit of something more. And I'm like, yeah, I just, I think that's a part of life. And I asked him, I said, so what is next for you? And he's like, what do you mean? I'm like, well, what's next for you? And he goes, I've accomplished everything I need to accomplish. I got a job. I got a wife. I got my kids. I got my house. Like I have everything. And in that moment, I was just like, wow. I said, some people in this world stop dreaming. They stop dreaming and they stop that pursuit of more. And, I did my research, Mike. I see you played a little college football for the Red Dragons up there in Cortland. So, a lot of football players, a lot of guys that I went to high school with, a lot of guys I went to college with, they hit that same crossroads where they stopped dreaming after their football career. But you didn't stop dreaming, Mike, man. You're dreaming every day. You're in pursuit of that next big thing. You're a world record holder. I've seen you doing the handstand push-up, boys. I see you doing the 100-mile, boy. Man, you're doing all these really cool things. And how did you take that football career and turn it into a fitness career, and then use that fitness career to sort of like I don't know if it's a revamp, but just to sort of redefine the path of your life? How did you take that football career and make that fitness career a part of your lifestyle?
Yeah. Well, thanks for asking. I mean, I've always been interested in my body and athletics and movement. And so just seeing what I can accomplish. And I mean, it started off when I was really young, and my basketball team or football team be playing another undefeated team. And, you get down before the game, like, can we beat these guys? Can I, beat this receiver? Can I do whatever it is? And so that like microcosm of seeing a goal, wanting to work on it, and then pushing through and achieving it is just that's like the formula that I just rinse and repeat across the board in everything that I do. Whether it's my relationship, obviously a bunch of physical stuff, it's pretty easy to understand it in that way. But yeah, the team mentality is one thing with football specifically that you don't get as much in a gym if you're working out by yourself. But if you're working out in a community, which I highly recommend, you do get some of those similar goals and can bring along people for the ride. I mean, that's how I first started ultra running. I was in a gym out in Colorado, and one of the guys in the gym came up and it's like, "Hey, Mike, we're going to do this run, the rim to rim to rim in the Grand Canyon, doing in 2 months. You want to do it?" I was like, "How far is it?" They're like 50 miles, and it's a bunch of elevation gain. I was like, "All right, cool, I'm in." Like, well, what's the training like? What do we need to accomplish? And then you set along some of those goals, and then went out and achieved that. And every time you do something that you don't think you can do, I like to think of it as like a little deposit into my own personal self-belief, and that works laterally across in other areas of my life that are more important than running 100 miles.
That's cool, man. And you said something in there about just always wondering, and that's that curiosity piece. And I said it before, curiosity didn't kill the cat, man. Curiosity actually saved the cat, because, man, when you're curious about the next big thing, like if you're always in pursuit of something grander in life, that is the full package right there. That's how you live your greatest life. If you're always in pursuit, if you're always curious of what 100-miler is, if you're always curious as to what it feels like to paddle board from where was it? Was it Puerto Rico or
Bahamas to Florida?
Golly, from the
From
Bahamas.
the Bahamas. Wait, time out. I need a 20. wait a minute. So all I'm gonna say, Mike, is next time let me know, man, because I can save money on a cruise. Because Florida, Bahamas, that's the trip that I like to take, man. I roll with you. You know what I'm saying? You can do the work, but I roll with you, man.
You need the support boat.
I love it. Hey, Mike, I want to jump on one thing that you just said. And this is something, I don't know how much you know about us, but E2M, we actually, fitness program that specializes in weight loss, and we do 8-week cycles. And the 8-week cycles, we do it that way so that they can incorporate what you mentioned, the community aspect, the team aspect. We bring everybody in at the same time, so they all have the same goal, to lose weight in 8 weeks. And so it's really cool that you mentioned how that helped you along your journey. I mean, of course, it took you to, do something extreme, run 100 miles, when you got a car. I don't understand that part, but it took you to do something extreme, man, because of the community aspect and that camaraderie, man. I want you to kind of expand on that a little bit, because that is our demographic, people that are in that challenge. Some people, this is going to be week 3 for them, Brad. This is going to be week 3 for them when they listen to this. Just the importance of that, man, having that support system in that community. I want you to kind of dig into that a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, I think one of our biggest fears as human beings is being ostracized from the community. And I think when a lot of people are unhealthy or overweight, they feel ostracized from the community. And so when they come together and feel supportive in that group, then it can yield to like tremendous gains or losses or support in that type of way. And so when you get a bunch of people that have a similar mission and understand what other people are going through, maybe not exactly the struggles that they have, but the idea of it can feel really empowering to then want to reach out and accomplish your own goals. One, you want to achieve the things that you care about, but you also don't want to let down, your brothers or your sisters or other people who are working with you along that process.
Yeah. Very good. All right, Brad, you can have it back.
Yeah, no, it's funny because go ahead. Sorry, Mike, go ahead.
Yeah, no, that's I was just right. So it's 10 days from the 100-mile finish, and I was just typing up some notes. So kind of like what I really take away from this. And the thing that I keep coming back to is like, I don't really love running. I love like learning more things about myself. And then the ultra community is the most positive community I've ever been around ever. I've played every single sport except for lacrosse, which I do regret, but I've played every sport. And when you're at that start line for a 100-mile race, with you're with hundreds of other people. Everyone there had a similar story to get to that start line. They had to convince themselves that they could do it. They had to convince their family that they can do it. They had to get the training, the support, the travel. They're probably there with like their closest friends and family to support them on that. All they want to do is just support other people who are on that same thing. And when you're running for a day or more than a day, just surrounded by all of that positive energy, all of those endorphins, all of that nature, it changes you in a really amazing way. So I want to encourage everyone. I know it sounds crazy. You don't have to do a 100-mile race, but maybe it's your 5K or a 10K or a half marathon or whatever it can be. Push yourself to do something that seems totally outside of your wheelhouse. Do it with other people, and you will definitely surprise yourself.
Yeah, man, you're preaching you're speaking my language right now. I love it because, man, I tell all of our clients, man, dream big, and when you think you've dreamt big, dream a little bit bigger, because oftentimes, man, the dreams that we accomplish in our lives, they're not set high enough, and then once you achieve that thing, you're like, man, I should have went for the whole thing. And a prime example is a half marathon versus a full marathon. If you've never done a full marathon, but running is in the cards, man, shoot for that full marathon. And if you fall short, man, that half marathon is still a great accomplishment. But if you shoot for that half marathon and you fall short of that, then you start to second guess, man, why did I do this? And all the things. But man, yeah, dream bigger, dream bigger. And I saw a little bit of your journey, man. I've been watching on social media and watching the rim to rim and all of that. And I want to talk about trials and tribulation, because when it comes to long distances, when it comes to fitness, when it comes to life, when it comes to anything of quality, man, you're going to go through some thick and some thin. What trials and tribulations did you go through? What kind of mindset games did you go through on the trail, on the course, in your 100-mile journey?
Yeah, a lot. I mean, 100 miles, they say it's like a life in a day. And so there's going to be those ups, there's going to be those downs. You start running, you've just ran a 10K, right? That's 6 miles. All of a sudden you look at your watch or whatever, and you're like, I got 94 more miles to go. Like, what?
I just fainted.
You could let that completely overtake you. And so it's about taking that huge thing and breaking it down into the smaller goals, making it to the next aid station, making it to the next loop, making it to the next to half mile, half marathon, whatever it can be. And so, I would go through my ankle was really bothering me. I tried to do 100 miles 2 months ago and didn't complete it. So now my ankle is bothering me a little bit. I was running past a girl who fell into a cactus and had cactus all over her arm. And so I was like running with her for a little bit, trying to get her to the next aid station, kind of get caught behind on nutrition or hydration or a blister or all these little things that pop up early in the race. You want to take care of them right away so that they don't get exacerbated at mile 73 or 84 or 87 when you still have a half marathon to go. But to answer your question, there's just little pings of self-doubt here and there. Can I get this through? Like my race was basically a 20-mile loop that we did 5 times. And so at the end of the third loop, I felt amazing. I came in, I was all smiles. I was feeling great. I was like, I'm going to crush this thing. At the end of the fourth loop, when I had one more to go, I was crying. I'm like, I don't know if I could do this. I'm walking now. Like, I can't run anymore. Who am I? I'm 220 pounds. I'm not supposed to be out here. Blah, 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 all this stuff. And my girlfriend was like, you're going to go do this. You can do it. One foot in front of the other. Run the mile that you're in, which is really the key with any big goal. Breaking it down and just being in the moment, being present, taking care of the meal that you're cooking now, the walk that you're going on in the morning, whatever it is. Especially when you have these big audacious goals, they get so overwhelming that we just want to quit, get overwhelmed by it. 100 miler is a great way of practice breaking that stuff down. And then when you complete that, you have deposited that huge self-confidence into that account. And then that again carries over into these other areas where, can I get married? Can I start this new job? Can I break up with my partner? Can I ask a buddy to talk about something that maybe isn't like the thing that guys talk about, but I'm really struggling with? Like, that's the shit that's really important. And that is what I think is cool about doing physical feats. They can go into more of those mental and emotional feats that really move the needle for how we feel about our life.
I love that, man. You're talking about courage, right? You're talking about all these things to grow your valiancy, and man, it does come down to those single reps and those single steps. Like if you are on the outside and you're looking at this big thing, this big 100-mile race, it seems like a good idea when you're outside looking in, like, oh, cool, like this is 100 miles, like I'm gonna get the gold medal, I'm gonna get the T-shirt, I'm gonna do all the things. Then once you get out there, you put that first lap, and I'm feeling good. But then you get that second loop, and you're like, boy, Boy, and I saw this thing one time. I was running the Maryland Ironman, and I was mile 20. I don't remember where I was, but it was at that turning point where I was like, I don't know if I can go any further. And I saw this sign. I looked up. I saw this sign that said, "Be where your feet are." I wanted to get to that finish line. I wanted to get to the Emerald City. I wanted to be done, but it said, "Be where your feet are." And I was like, okay, I can go one more step, and I can go one more step, and I can go one more step. And then, over time that eliminates that doubt and that fear. And then you talk about the courage to have those tough conversations. You have the courage to finish. You have the courage to do more in life. And it's a revolving door, man. The more courage and the more strength you build mentally and physically, the further that you go in life and the more curious you become out of life, man. That's a cool thing. I
You nailed
relate to all of that.
You nailed it with courage. Courage is the word, because you can't be curious if you don't have courage. Because it takes a lot of courage to reach out and try something new, to share an idea, to share a modality. And so I always tell people, I mean, I work as a performance coach and work with a lot of people actually in a similar 8-week format. I love that you guys chose that length time. I think that's a really great length for people to make transformation. Is start with something small, right? If you are wanting to run a race, like just start with running around the block, or drinking water first thing in the morning, or having coffee 3 days of the week instead of 7 days of the week, or whatever it is. You start to make those little deposits, and you get those compounding interest over time. And it's not the fancy stuff. No one wants to hear that, because it's not fun. We want to have that instant gratification, just like, now I want it done. But if you can see progress and you can see that growth, let that really inspire you to keep going. And then putting it in with the community, other people can see that too. And that's where it can really continue to grow into something that, before you know it, you're like, wow, I've lost 10 pounds, 20 pounds. Like, I've ran 50 miles. But the ceiling thing you talked about too, Bradley, is so huge. Like, I always talk about, we have these ceilings in our life. And when I first ran my first 50K, when I crossed that finish line, I was like, I couldn't run any farther. Like, that was it. I'm like, I can't go any farther than that. I was tired at the end. And so just be careful of the limitations that we put on each other, and we put on ourselves, but specifically each other.
Yeah, I love that ending, man. Because I think it was Jay-Z that talked about his uncle, that he told his uncle he was gonna sell 1 million records, and his uncle was like, man, you'll never sell 1 million records. And he said that I sold 1 million records 1 million times, and he pretty much saying that you can't take on someone else's fear or doubt. You can't take on someone else's, if they're reluctant, you can't take that on. That's not yours. You have to pretty much settle it yourself, man. So that's super dope for sure. So, man, I want to talk about you talked about how you actually do some training and performance stuff yourself. And as far as you do the 8 weeks, and that's super cool as well. Kind of what is your approach, and what are some of the kind of athletes that you train and all that? Talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, one way I like to phrase the thing that you said before was, we need more encouragement and less competition. We're always competing with ourselves so much. Everyone in our head is our biggest competition. And so the more we can encourage each other, it's just going to continue to grow. And so, yeah, I used to work as a strength and conditioning coach, working with tons of athletes. Actually, at Cortland, the Jets came, and I was able to intern with their strength and conditioning staff for 2 training camps. And that was so cool, because they never had an intern before. And so they were like, cool, go coach with Daniel Tomlinson kettlebell swing. Go coach Jason Taylor, how to do his like prehab warm up. And so I was just right off the bat thrown in with these top level athletes and loved it. Went out to California, training a lot of guys for the NFL Combine, moved back to New York, running a strength and conditioning facility. But what I found was that, it's fun getting guys bigger, faster, stronger for sure. But what's really cool is that space that I call between the field house and the weight room. Usually we do the speed work first, and then you walk into the weight room. And on that walk, people are talking about struggling with my girl, struggling with my friends, struggling with my family, with my finances, with whatever it is. Those are the conversations I really love, some of the more like mental and emotional aspects. And so I dove into yoga and mindfulness and all of these different introspective practices, along with the physicality too. And so when I work with clients now, I use this holistic perspective of looking at them through their physical health, their mental health, their emotional, the environments that they're in, the way that they're learning and using their brain intellectually. And throughout all of that, we look at, okay, what's the biggest blind spot or shadow aspect of either your actions or the ways that you're interacting with the world that are stopping you from achieving the goals you want to achieve. And maybe we need to take that hours that you spend going for a 315 bench press and spend it towards some like honest, vulnerable conversations with your partner, because you think, well, if I just build up this chest, then no one can get to my heart and I got a shield on. It's like, cool, being strong is great. Believe me, I love it. I work out all the time. But I think like the real strength is being able to have those vulnerable conversations with ourselves and with others.
That's super dope, man.
Yeah.
That's super dope. We even have mental health coaches in our system, so we're in the same line of the body and the mind and I was, it's funny you talked about building your chest and keeping people from your heart, because it's a lot of, especially in the NFL, that's like the perfect place to look. There's a lot of mental aspects that's getting overlooked with those guys, because a lot of times when you can perform, people overlook the personal. Like as long as you're doing it on Sunday, I don't care if you on the brink of whatever on the weekends or during the week or whatever. So really cool that you said that, man. All right, B, go ahead, take it.
Yeah.
I saw you ready.
He knows that I like to talk. He knows that I like to talk, man. That piece that you said, walking from the field house to the weight room, that's huge.
It is.
That is huge. And that's that piece of wanting, that curiosity piece of wanting to grow. We'll look at life and we'll say, well, I want to make $1 million. Well, I want to bench 315. Well, I want to do this or I want to do that. But man, those conversations, that's the thing that we're lacking. That heart that you talk about, that's the things that we're lacking, because those are the scary things, man. Those are the things that everybody's afraid of. But that's where, again, you come back to life's full package. It's about the conversations when you're that you have with your loved ones. It's about those tough, difficult conversations of, hey, we're gonna have kids. What kind of discipline are we gonna have? What kind of, and you talk marriage. What kind of marriage are we gonna have? And all the things, man. And Mike, just the full package that you're talking about here. I think it's phenomenal. And that's just that piece of growth. And I know we kind of like pinged all over the place today, but I think that's the cool thing about fitness, because fitness is so relatable to life, and running is so relatable to life, because every day you wake up and it's a battle to wake up. And every day you put your 2 feet on the ground and you wonder what the day is going to bring. And if you always looking for that destination, you're not worried about that in between space of the facility to the weight room. If you're not talking, if you're not, just diving into all that space, man, you're missing out on a lot in life. And I thought that was pretty cool, Mike.
Thanks, man. Yeah, the reason, we got to ask yourself, why do you want to do the things that you want to do?
Yeah.
And then whatever bullshit reason you usually give at the beginning, ask why again, and then again, and again, and again, and you'll get to some root level. And then that helps you so that you're excited, you're motivated when your feet hit the ground in the morning. You're excited to have the day because you have the plan. I'm going to your 8-week program to work on my weight loss with my friends, and I'm motivated to go and do that. That's huge.
Awesome, man. So Mike, man, this has been super dope. We're so grateful for your time, man. People blowing up the comments and saying how much they enjoy this, and we know they're gonna hit us up. Make sure on YouTube you put in comments how much you enjoy this podcast. Mike, what we do, man, at the end of our show, we have a segment called Do You Know or Did You Know? We actually created it because our CEO and boss, Jeff, he loves the movie Shrek, and he quotes the gingerbread man, the do you know? So he says that a lot. And so we have a little segment, man, that we want to give you time to think about something that people may not know about you. If they followed you on Instagram, if they saw another interview you've done, something you've never said anywhere else, something people may not know about you, we're going to give you opportunity to share that with the audience. I know you probably got to search a little bit, so I'm stalling right now just so you can think of something to say, because we know it's on the spot. Go ahead, B.
Hey, do we want to take a minute after that and answer a question or two? If anybody does have any questions, I'm not saying anybody has any questions, but if anybody does have any questions, fire them up for after the Do You Know?
Yeah, if you're having questions, drop them in the comment section on the Eager to Run page, which is our free run group. If you don't know about it, if you're seeing this somewhere, we have a free run group called Eager to Run Club. Look at that handsome gentleman there. Looks very nice.
My.
So all right, so that should be plenty of time for you, Mike. Should have something for me by now. So
For
here we
sure.
go.
So
Do you know?
All right, here is the do you know moment. Let's get it.
So this is something that I used to be really insecure about. And when I would go to the beach, when I in my bathing suit, wouldn't want to share this at all. And it is my toes, my feet, my middle toe, and like my big toe, and then the second toe and the third toe. Those two are a lot bigger than my big toe. Like I'm talking like a full inch or even more. And so I'd always like dig them into the sand and would hide them. And so yeah, it really. I know it sounds silly, but I think it's something I couldn't control. And now I love it. I think it's super unique. Every time I have my bare foot, I'm always asking people, have you ever seen anyone with longer toes than this? And I think that might be another record that I'm going to work on. So, that's a random one, probably not what you guys are looking for.
I love it. No,
man.
it's perfect. It is perfect. I love it. It explains why you're able to do that funny lift for 300. You got it. It's the awkward balance that you got with that long toe, man. Everything's explained.
That's my secret.
No, that's fire, man. So I don't see any questions, man, but a lot of people were inspired by this show. So make sure you subscribe on YouTube. And if you're watching it on Facebook Live, make sure you're going to subscribe on YouTube so you can watch it again there. It's going to drop Monday. It'll also be replaying in our Eager to Run club. If you're on YouTube, watch it. Make sure you go to Facebook, join the club. It's a free run group. Mike, you should join too, man. Come on and join the club, man. Why not? Come in and make some posts and all of that stuff. Let me see. Anything else? Nope. Everything said we're good. All right, y'all. So until next time, man, make sure y'all check out the Bad Podcast. Subscribe to the E2M Fitness Media Network on your favorite podcast catcher. We're super excited to have you. Drop a comment, leave a review, tell a friend, tell your brother, tell your mother. Till next time, we're out of here, man.